Okay, so we've got some fascinating articles about a pretty charged moment in 90s NBA history, right? Fans still debate this one, and it involves two huge EE names, Allen Iverson and Dennis Rodman. You want to get into it?
Absolutely. This wasn't just like your typical on-court scuffle, It really represented, I think, a bigger shift that was happening in the NBA at the time. Like you had these two totally different forces, two different eras of basketball, basically colliding in real time.
You're talking about that game on December 21st, 1996, right?
Yeah.
Where we had rookie Iverson, all about that lightning-fast drive and swagger up against the Chicago Bulls.
Exactly. And of course, you can't talk about this without Dennis Rodman, right? The guy was a master of rebounding, but also a master of getting in people's heads. It was like his own kind of game.
Right. And to really understand how tense things work, I gotta remember, the Bulls, with Jordan leading them, were at the top of their game. They were a dynasty. So you've got this young, super confident Iverson basically challenging the entire established order of the NBA.
And he was doing it right in Rodman's face,
So how did things go from 0 to 60? What even happened during that infamous play?
So it all starts with a rebound. Rodman, never one to shy away from contact, is battling with Iverson for position. And Iverson, even though he was quite a bit smaller, never backed down from anyone.
Never.
So Iverson gets tangled up with Rodman, grabs his jersey, and it's like someone lit a fuse. Everything just explodes.
I bet that crowd was losing their minds.
Oh, absolutely. Refs and players had to jump in to separate them before it became a full-on brawl. I mean, it was a classic example of how Rodman used his physicality, even his reputation, to mess with his opponent.
It's psychological, right? Like almost like he was playing chess and everyone else was playing checkers.
Right, exactly.
But here's what I find so interesting. This whole thing with Rodman, it didn't even faze Iverson. The guy went on to score 32 points that game. Talk about a fiery performance under pressure.
It really shows you how insanely talented Iverson was and how much confidence he had. I mean, here he is, a rookie, going head-to-head with one of the most intimidating players in the league, and he doesn't even blink. That fearlessness, that's what made him such a captivating player to watch.
Totally. So what was Rodman's reaction to all this? To Iverson basically stealing the show after that scuffle?
Well, if you know Rodman, you can probably guess. He downplayed the whole thing, of course. Even suggested that Iverson needed to learn some humility, some respect for the game.
Classic Rodman.
Yeah.
But it does make you think, maybe that whole incident, it wasn't just about two guys getting tangled up on the court. Maybe it was this perfect example of a much bigger generational conflict that was happening in the NBA.
Totally. You've got Rodman kind of representing an older style of play where that edge, that physicality, even if it went a little over the line sometimes, was part of the game. Then you have Iverson, who was all about this new era where individual expression, personal style, it was just as important as being tough.
It's really making me see that moment in a new light. Do you think that incident, the way it played out in the media, did it shape how people saw both of those players?
Yeah.
Did it turn Rodman into the villain and Iverson into this fearless up-and-comer?
Oh, I definitely think it played a role. And it makes you think about how the game itself has changed. Like, would we even see that kind of raw, physical rivalry in today's NBA?
I don't know.
It's a good question to ask yourself. Did that kind of intensity, that fire, make the NBA better? Or did it take away from the game? It's something to think about.
Yeah, it really makes you think.